наверное, нет. И вот это, да? Сказала бы. Второй выступал.
Two kinds of theater. Two kinds of magic. When a form of theater attracts an audience night after night, generation after generation, century after century, we call it a classic. Two forms of theatrical dance became classics by very different routes. From the streets and pleasure quarters of 17th century Japan, Kabuki. From the ballrooms of the 17th century French court, Ballet. Ballet and Kabuki have been created in very different societies. The makeup and costumes, the movements, the stories, all work within different conventions. Yet the similarities between these two traditions are as striking as the contrasts. Both have been captivating audiences for over 300 years. Their stories reflect the deeply rooted values of their societies. Both have established vast, labyrinthine theaters, where the skills of hundreds of people are drawn together to create a world of make-believe. A backstage where the illusions are prepared. A public space where audiences find themselves face to face with a transformed reality. A distraught warrior confronted by a vengeful witch. The spell is cast. A classic battle of good and evil unfolds.
Our lives today are too full of practical concerns. We are starved of dreams, but Kabuki can give us a larger vision. Kabuki interweaves the real world and the imagined world to create a larger reality. Kabuki is bold, and that's its fascination. Kabuki is burning energy.
The stories of Kabuki, like the fairy tales of ballet, are well known to the public. Audiences come to the theater to experience the stories and see how well the artists perform their roles. Kabuki bombards its audience with every manner of theatrical effect, movement, dialogue, music, and gesture. The world of Kabuki revolves around men like Ichikawa Inosuke. A descendant of one of the founding Kabuki dynasties, he is actor, director, and company manager, continuing a tradition that has been in his family for generations. In the course of a 4-hour drama, Inosuke will play many parts: a hero and a villain, an evil spirit, a woman, and a common man. And each of these many characters may adopt several disguises. Trapdoors, revolving stages, and special lighting transform the theater. Before our very eyes, a character can travel from battleground to riverbank to the middle of an enchanted lake.
It's a world of dreams, death and rebirth, plunging through the earth, soaring through the sky. These are all everyday reality to Kabuki. Kabuki is ideal to feed the dreams that people need.
Like Kabuki, classical ballet takes us to other worlds and times. Sleeping Beauty, a fairy tale retold in dance and music, is set in an imagined kingdom. Ballet evolved from the court dances of 17th century Europe, most notably the court of Louis XIV. It embodies values shaped by its court heritage and conveys to its audience an idealized vision of elegance and decorum. At the heart of ballet is the expressive marriage of movement and music. Superhuman technique must appear effortless. Ballet gives the illusion of transcending the physical limits of the human body itself.
It is something higher than everyday life. Ballet uses many conventions. That is what makes it clear and understandable, without the need for language or any other means of communication. To my mind, people from other civilizations, other worlds, would be able to understand ballet completely.
Sleeping Beauty is considered one of the high points of ballet. The story of a princess put to sleep by a curse and awakened years later by the kiss of a prince can be seen as an allegory for the classic battle between good and evil. Fairies invited to the christening of Princess Aurora bestow on the baby the virtues of femininity. The pink fairy embodies generosity, the yellow fairy, lightheartedness. Each fairy embodies a virtue that will emerge in the character of Aurora.
Let's consider Aurora. When she was born, what was she given? Tenderness, first of all, as she is a girl. Generosity, courage, lightheartedness. These are features from the Bible. These are the Ten Commandments. This is religion. This is her character. This is her spirituality. So, is it a fairy tale or real life disguised as a fairy tale? That's not important. What is important is what we feel after this. This is why I would say to everyone on earth today, tell your children as many fairy tales as possible. Then your children will be kind, good, brave and tender, not like soldiers.
But fairy tales have their dark side too. One fairy was not invited to the christening of Princess Aurora. Karabas is furious. It's too late to make amends. Her gift to the baby is a curse. On her 16th birthday, Princess Aurora, beautiful and innocent, will prick her finger on a spindle and die. In both ballet and kabuki, demonic forces fight to triumph over virtue. Both traditions deal with the eternal conflicts, good and evil, duty and desire, order and chaos. Princess Aurora's protector, the Lilac Fairy, banishes Karabas from the court. When the composer Tchaikovsky and the choreographer Petipa created Sleeping Beauty in 1890, they were servants of the Russian imperial court at St. Petersburg. Sleeping Beauty has been performed continuously ever since by ballet companies all over the world. In Russia, its magic has survived revolution, war, famine, and 7 decades of cultural commissars. Wherever the ballets of Tsarist Russia are performed, they continue to evoke their origin in a great imperial city.
Without this city, this fantastic city, equal to none on earth, such choreography couldn't have happened. You can see an object at the right distance here. When an architect creates a building surrounded by space, he wants to present it in full, not in fragments. The same with theater. Petipa and choreographers after him base their work on the laws of this kind of architecture, this kind of perspective. What is architecture? First of all, it is rhythm, the rhythm of columns, pillars, windows, openings. What is a dance ensemble? It is the rhythm of different figures made into a unity, the composition of these figures, the pattern.
Kirov company today can trace an unbroken line to some of the most revered dancers of the century. Anna Pavlova on the left, Nijinsky in the center, and Balanchine, Nureyev, Makarova, Baryshnikov. The lineage has been defined by pupil-teacher relationships. Many of them formed in the Imperial Ballet School, now named after its most influential teacher, Agrippina Vaganova. The Vaganova School is open to anyone, that is, with the physical resources. Admission to the school is highly competitive.
The competition is declared and the exams are held in March. Every year, 600 to 700 children try to pass this exam, and we need to select only 40 or 50 boys and girls. The examiners usually measure the proportion of the head to the legs. First, the children are checked by the medical commissioners and then by the dance specialists. This is the basis of selection.
Поставила. Прямо головочка. На мизинчике. С головкой, Анечка. Держу дольше пяточки. Спинки прямые. Вздохнуть вместе с ножкой.
The system of ballet teaching has been codified, written down and repeated, to set a pattern for ballet classes wherever they occur.
The basis of selection is physical ability. Without it, you can't do anything. If the child is not made for dancing, if the legs don't lift, if they are short, and if their face is, how shall I put it, uninteresting, this definitely does not help at all. The dancer develops out of her own character, her attitude, her desire. Even if she is gifted, but she does not work enough, the talent will disappear. In 5 or 6 years, you may not recognize the student who seemed so promising. This is often the case. And on the other hand, there might be nothing special in the student, but if she really wants to work, staying late in class, trying to practice somewhere else, suddenly she may start to blossom like a flower.
Голова, 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 голова. Сильнее, сильнее. Поднимай ножки, поднимай, поднимай, поднимай.
By the time of Petipa, the court dances of Louis XIV had evolved into a complex language of movement. Each step, attitude, and pose had been clearly defined and named. Dances are composed from these elements in the way that melody and harmony are composed from the notes of music. This language of ballet can be learned and spoken the world over. For every dancer, first comes the discipline of learning the steps, then come expression, mood, and character.
Больше корпус и голова вниз, Таня. И стой. Головка вниз, стой. И сейчас Воробынский, постой, стой.
The language of Kabuki was created in a high-energy, optimistic era, similar in mood to the Japan of today. A growing merchant class was creating a demand for new entertainments. Kabuki evolved from racy street performances to become an entertainment for the wealthy. But unlike the outward-looking nation of today, 17th and 18th century Japan closed its doors on the world. Kabuki remained unique to Japan. The first Kabuki theaters were attached to tea houses and brothels. But eventually, under pressure from the authorities, Kabuki gained respectability. August theaters like the Kabuki-za in Tokyo seem a long way from the pleasure houses of old Japan. But some of its themes reflect Kabuki's racy past. In addition to histories and myths, Kabuki dramas were often based on famous scandals of the day. One of the most popular themes was of lovers caught between personal desire and social obligation. For those unable to endure their lot, there was a socially acceptable way out: suicide. In the 18th century, suicide scenes in Kabuki were so widely imitated in real life that the authorities banned them from the stage. In their perennial battle with Kabuki, the authorities banned women from performing on stage. Men played women's roles. The tradition of the Yonagata, the actors who specialize in female roles, is one of the best established of Kabuki's many conventions.
In playing Kabuki, an actor is bound by conventions. The problem of how to express oneself within the formal restrictions gives the actor a kind of pleasure. Without these restrictions, it would be easy, but then I don't have the delight of coping with the difficulties Kabuki imposes on actors. Kabuki is like a puzzle. It's a framework, and we work out how to express ourselves to the fullest within the framework. Even when we are doing exactly the same things, my performance and that of another actor in the same role will be totally different. That's what makes it so interesting for me.
In the classic dance play Dojoji, Takao Kataoka evokes the easy life of a young man about town some 200 years ago. With its concentration on dance and music, this is Kabuki when it is most like ballet. Together, Takao's mime and the words of the song describe a drinking party in springtime. The song refers to spring blossoms. As the petals float down, they look like rafts being punted along the river. In Kabuki, the fan is a prop of infinite variety. First it was a sake jug, now it's a cup. With every cup of sake, the girls look more charming. Takao mimics a coy young girl. While the girl played shuttlecock, the musicians warn the audience of woman's fickle nature. In every Kabuki performance, attendants help the actor perform a quick change of costume in full view of the audience. Sometimes this is to reveal a change of character. Sometimes is here for the sheer pleasure of the effect. Takao takes a ball from his sleeve. He performs a dance sequence which occurs in every one of the many versions of dojoji. As with ballet, there is pleasure in the repetition of the familiar. Connoisseurs appreciate subtle differences in each artist's interpretation. Takao, like most Kabuki artists, was born into a Kabuki family. He was performing on stage by the time he was 5. Most Kabuki performers are taught by their fathers.
I was aged about 7 or 8. I might go to school for an hour or 2 in the morning, depending on what time I had to appear on stage. I would be in school for only an hour, then have all kinds of training, and then I'd go to the theater to perform. So my education was all in a jumble. I had various tutors who tried to teach me things, but not much ever seemed to penetrate my skull. All my friends would be able to play after school. I had to go to dance training or singing lessons. I was never able to play children's games. I thought I'd been born into an awful life. Why couldn't I just be like other kids? That's when I first felt like quitting this life of a Kabuki actor.
Although Kabuki roles can be broken into set pieces called kata, performers learn their craft by mastering entire roles. Even a child learns a complete part from beginning to end. It is difficult for outsiders to enter the world of Kabuki, except when there is no one in the next generation to carry on the family tradition. Then an outsider is recruited and adopted into the family.
I was worried that when I grew up, I might not be able to make a living from Kabuki. However, I can't escape from the reality of the family I was born into. My father is the head of the 13th generation. I can't abandon my duty to the family. Giving up is always possible. But this is an art which has been handed down for more than 250 years. I thought it was too shameful to lose such history in my time.
For Larissa Lezhnina, becoming a ballet dancer was not about duty, but about desire and ability. Her father was a worker and her mother a wig maker. As a very young girl, she started dance classes at a local community center and then qualified for the Vaganova school. Years of hard work and talent did the rest. Now Larissa is a principal dancer with the Kirov Ballet, playing the role of Princess Aurora in Sleeping Beauty. It is Aurora's 16th birthday. She is greeted by princes from foreign lands, each of whom offers himself as a suitor.
Первый раз я видела по телевизору балет.
I saw ballet for the first time on television. Like all children, I adored the costumes, not the dancing. The costumes were really beautiful, and looking at the princess, I told my mother that one day I wanted to dance wearing the same crown.
The ballerina is an idealization of femininity, a secular angel. Her costume, the tutu, permits the limbs to move freely and allows the audience to follow the line of the dancer's body. The dancer, both athletic and graceful, seems to approach the superhuman.
According to Greek mythology, Aurora is the goddess of dawn. It symbolizes the birth of dawn. What is dawn? It is hope. Hope for a better day, for a better tomorrow.
Что такое Аврора как существо человеческое? Это символ юности.
This is why Larissa Lezhnina is dancing Aurora in our theater. She is the same age. Larissa looks like a 14-year-old girl, and Aurora was 16. It is a rare case when such a young ballerina helps create the right image for the character. It helps the choreography, the music, and also helps one to understand the whole process of human development. It is she who has to face all the different stages of life: happiness, tragedy, resurrection.
An uninvited guest at Aurora's birthday celebration gives the princess a bouquet of flowers. A poisoned spindle was hidden in the bouquet. The curse of Karabas is fulfilled. Evil unmasks itself, declaring its triumph over innocence.
I suddenly found myself in a cruel world of grown-up people. I turned 22 recently. I danced my first Sleeping Beauty on my 20th birthday. And I was confronted by the harsh reality of the theatre. It's difficult to work here. There's so many ballerinas, excellent ballerinas. That's why it's hard for us young ballerinas who have just joined the company to make a good start.
В принципе, очень трудно пробиваться.
Of course, if there is a chance, everyone tries to make use of it. The competition is tough here. You have to always be in good shape, hardworking and clever, and try to become a professional as soon as possible, to find a place of your own in the theatre.
A dancer with special talent can become a superstar, but the physical demands of ballet are great. After a few glorious years of dancing beautiful young heroines, a ballerina may find herself out of the spotlight, replaced by younger dancers. After all the years of training, the performer's life is limited. Most ballet dancers' careers are over by the time they are in their 40s. When Bando Tamasaburo was 22, he also played leading roles. In fact, he was a star, complete with adoring fans. Now he is in his early 40s, and his skills as a performer continue to mature. A Kabuki performer is expected to develop with age, and the respect due him grows accordingly. Many great Kabuki artists in their 70s are still playing beautiful young heroines. Tamasaburo is famous as an onagata, a specialist in female roles. Onagata evoke the world depicted in woodblock prints, the floating world of geishas and tea houses. In the dance drama Dojoji, Tamasaburo plays the role of a beautiful young dancer named Hanako. Dojoji, or the dancing maiden at the Dojo temple, is based on an ancient legend of a young girl's disappointed love. Spurned by her betrothed, who leaves her to become a priest, the rejected girl's spirit awaits an opportunity to take revenge. The spirit of the maiden emerges in the character of Hanako. Stillness, small movements close to the floor, the scarf bearing the actor's crest, and the kimono that covers the body are essential to the Kabuki aesthetic.
I do not know what the intention is behind ballet, but when we look at their dance, the balance seems so different. In ballet, they often jump and get away from the ground. In Japanese dance, physically we are on the ground, but in our imagination we fly. If I take 3 steps forward and 1 step backward and stop, and say that I have traveled 500 kilometers, I really believe that I have walked a long way. And the audience also believe that I have traveled a long way. Now I'm here, but everyone agrees that he has traveled a great distance and he is going a long way to the other world. When the make-believe is believed on both sides, it appears to be true.
Dojoji is like a danced poem with many layers of meaning and nuance. Different aspects of woman's nature are revealed, from tenderness and sorrow to evil possession. Hanako remembers her betrothed and the letter she wrote to him declaring her love. This playful struggle takes place in sight of the dojo temple where the new bell is to be blessed. As Hanako dances, she is possessed by the enraged spirit of the rejected maiden. In her dance, Hanako portrays many different aspects of the female personality: demure, passionate, vengeful.
I used to think it was a real woman when I started on the stage, but I came to understand that it is an ideal woman whom we men create in our minds. Any woman seeing dojoji can find the feelings she can share, and every man can witness an expression which he has observed in a woman. Many things are brought together. So, for an Onagata, dojoji is a profound play.
Beneath Hanako's beauty as a young maiden is concealed her other nature. She is a snake demon. Her demonic character surfaces briefly as she glances at the bell. She has come to the temple to avenge her betrayal. The sight of the bell reminds her of her pain. In the end, transformed completely to the snake demon, Hanako will climb atop the bell and destroy it. The theatrical spell is broken. On each folded cloth is the insignia of the players Tamasaburo and Takao. Lucky members of the audience will take home a souvenir of the performance.
Joy, anger, pathos, and happiness. These are human nature. Each of us has a face with different sides. Basic human nature stays the same. Whatever the changes in social structure, moral values, and the processes of perception, human nature never changes. Kabuki emphasizes this.
Nowadays, we're surrounded by uniform furniture and buildings. Architecture is the same everywhere, and we all think in the same way. We don't have control of our consciousness, aesthetics, education. We are all the same, all products of one conveyor belt. Charlie Chaplin, who was a wonderful actor and dancer, used to say this. This is why we need this bridge between the 19th and 20th centuries, and why ballet should survive into the 21st century. I am a representative of modern times. I like modern art and devote myself to it. But without beautiful things like this around, our future life would be impossible.
И мы должны это сохранить.
Princess Aurora, protected by the embodiment of goodness, the lilac fairy, survives the curse of Karabas. Instead of dying, Aurora was fated to sleep 100 years, only to be wakened by the kiss of a prince. Innocence triumphs over evil. Classical dance theaters reflect the ideas and values, the conflicts and morals of the cultures that produce them. Their continued popularity is connected to the eternal issues embedded deep in the human psyche. the world of dance theater becomes more real than everyday life, more profound, timeless, classic.
Monarda